As Republican lawmakers decide whether they still support the leadership of State Speaker of the House Glenn Casada.
The state GOP caucus meeting happening right now behind closed doors at the 21C Museum Hotel. Now, caucus members had asked for the meeting to be held off-site from the Capitol. Casada has been dealing with reports of racist or sexist text messages sent 3 years ago by his now former chief of staff, Cade Cothran. The speaker admits to sharing lewd responses to 2 of the sexually explicit texts and maintains that the overwhelming majority of the House's 73 Republicans still support him.
As this scandal has played out, we have heard the calls for Casada to step down as Speaker.
WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Blake Stevens has been hearing more local voices talking about the impact.
The fate of Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Casada isn't about his party, but about the future of Tennessee. Those words tonight from Randy Ellis, a state Republican Party leader from Roane County.
Well, you know, I support Republican candidates across the state, but at some point we have to put our state above politics and party, and this is a situation it's really dragging everybody down. Like I said, this is serving as a distraction, and we need to move forward as a state and a party.
Ellis believes the attention to Casada and his chief of staff have overshadowed the work of the GOP-led legislature and the work of Governor Bill Lee in his first year at the helm. Ellis would prefer people be talking about the things he sees as positives, including teacher pay raises and the state's budget passing unanimously. State Representative Gloria Johnson calling the whole thing embarrassing, saying it makes it hard to do state business.
And people are coming up to me nonstop. He's got to go. He's got to go. The citizens, and these are Republicans. I'm not talking about Democrats. These are Republicans saying he has to go. And so they need to listen to their constituents. They really do. There's no damage control they can do here.
Former Knoxville mayor and former state rep and senator Victor Ashe spending his retirement writing, reading, and keeping up with Nashville. He says he's never seen a controversy like this involving a House Speaker.
No, it's time for him to step aside. His usefulness and his credibility, I think, has been destroyed.
Ashe explaining the House Speaker is one of the most powerful people in the state. The Speaker decides who is recognized to speak when a bill is being debated. Casada is third in line to the governor, and he assigns lawmakers to their committees. That may sound a little bit like inside baseball, but what's decided in those committees, like education or transportation, that definitely affects us here in East Tennessee, guys.
It certainly does.
All right.
All right.
Blake, thank you so much.